Madam Clerk, please take the roll.
Representative Baum. Here. Camper. Cochran. Faison. Garrett. Present. Hawk. Hazelwood. Here. Hicks of Washington. Here. Love. Moon. Here. Shaw. Whitson. Here. Williams. Chairman Hicks.
Here.
Chairman, we have a quorum.
All right. Thank you very much. I'd like to call the Finance, Ways and Means Subcommittee to order for April 3rd, 2024. Members, do we have any announcements or personal orders before we begin? Chair Lady Hazelwood.
Well, actually, I would like to call on the chairman to make an announcement. I don't want to steal his thunder. So, Mr. Chairman, your own personal order, please.
All right. Thank you, Chair Lady. And so in August of 2023, Tennessee named its Tennessee Teacher of the Year, which just so happened to be Missy Testerman. Missy is not only a teacher at Rogersville City School, but she's also a colleague of mine for the past 13 years. So we were all excited about that. And so on actually this coming Monday on the 8th, we'll be recognizing Missy on the House floor. So move ahead to this morning on CBS this morning. Missy was actually named, so she ended up being one of the 4 finalists for National Teacher of the Year. So on CBS this morning, it was announced that Miss Missy Testerman at Rogersville City School is National Teacher of the Year. So that is a pretty big deal. And so we are really excited about that, her being named as such, but more importantly, we'll all get a chance to meet her on Monday. So very, very happy about this. Chair Lady Hazelwood.
Well, you didn't finish your announcement. In the CBS segment this morning, they had interviewed folks back home in Rogersville. One of those interviewees was the eldest daughter of our chairman, Caroline Hicks. Also, a number of you know Bridget Baird. She was also interviewed. So, great day for Tennessee, and congratulations to all the folks in Hawkins County.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Are any other personal orders would like to try to beat that? All right. If not, we have 43 bills on our calendar today. So we're going to get started with item number 1. Item number 1 on our calendar is going to be House Bill 1988 by Deputy Speaker Johnson. Sir, you're recognized. You have a motion to second.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. House Bill 1988 renews the nursing home bed assessment through June 30th of 2025.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. Any questions on the bill? Hearing none and seeing none, we're now voting on House Bill 1988, moving on to full finance. All those in favor signify by saying aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes do have it. House Bill 1988 moves to full finance.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Speaker. All right, that brings us to item number 2 on our calendar. Item number 2 is going to be House Bill 2368 by Chairman Carr. You have a motion second. Sir, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is what we call the RETA bill. It's an infrastructure bill for anybody wanting to put in the infrastructure to a development or anything that the local IBD board can bond, and they would get their money back after the assessment when each lot is sold. And with that, I'll be glad to explain anything else.
All right. Thank you, Chairman. Members, you've heard the description. House Bill 2368. Any discussion? Hearing none and seeing none, we're now voting on House Bill 23. Leader Camper, you're recognized.
Sorry, I was distracted by this pastor over here.
That's okay.
Where are we doing this at? What? I'm sorry. Is this in?
This is
Chairman Carr, you're recognized.
This is a statewide application if anybody wanted to do it. What a city IBD board or industrial development bond board could do is if a developer goes in and wants to put in all the infrastructure, then if they want to bond that, they can pay him back for his infrastructure. And then when they build each lot and sell each lot, then the IBD board would get their money back for assessment on each lot. And it has to be insured. It has to be underwritten. So if the developer goes bankrupt or the IDD board even itself goes bankrupt, it's all paid for by the insurance underwriter. It's protected.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Chairman Carr.
All right. Thank you very much. Further discussion. Again, we're on House Bill 2368. Hearing none and seeing none, we're now voting on House Bill 2368, moving on to full finance. All those in favor signify by saying aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes do have it. House Bill 2368 moves on to full finance. If you'd like to be recorded as a no, be sure to get the attention of the clerk. Item number 3 on our calendar is going to be House Bill 2623, again by Chairman Carr. We have a motion and a second. Sir, you're recognized for a brief description.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And this comes down from East Tennessee, up there from the Chair Ladies District down there in Chattanooga. It started there when some of the developers need a little more lenience on the lot they're building. Say they're going to be building, and this has to do with houses up to a fiveplex or whatever. If they build on the property and they can only get a threeplex, well, it doesn't make it really good to have affordable housing because they can't rent it there. So this gives the local planning commission the opportunity and the ability, if they want to, on that particular zoning, to drop some of the restrictions. They can make the setbacks littler. They can do away with part of the parking spaces. And that way the developer can build up to, say, 5 of those, and he can make them more developable and can rent them for a cheaper price, making more affordable housing. And that's all that this bill does. Thanks, Mr. Chairman.
All right. Thank you, Chairman Carr. Members, you've heard the description of House Bill 2623. Any discussion? Hearing none and seeing none. We're now voting on House Bill 2623, moving on to full finance. All those in favor signify by saying aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes do have it. House Bill 2623 moves to full finance.
Thank you, Chairman and committee.
Thank you, Chairman Carr. All right, that brings us to item number 4, which is Chairman Doggett, and I do not see Chairman Doggett in here just yet. So without objection, we will roll House Bill 2686 to the Hill without objection. So moved. Brings us to item number 5 on our calendar. Is going to be Chairman Farmer, House Bill 2244. Do we have a motion and a second? We have a motion and a second. Sir, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Committee. Do I need to put this amendment on, or is it traveling with
It is traveling with it. You're in the proper posture.
Very good. Members, what this does, this allows for, the city of Sevierville had asked that we allow them to make some adjustments on their 5% surcharge that comes along with their tourist development zone. Right now, they have to charge that 5%. This will allow for them to go below that, make some adjustments for certain developments coming into the city. There's a big one coming in with about a $500 million capital investment, and there's some other things have local approval, 2/3, so forth. If you have any questions, be happy to answer.
All right, Chairman Farmer, thank you very much. Members, you've heard the description. Any discussion? House Bill 2244. Question's been called. Objection calling the question. Hearing none, seeing none. We're now voting on House Bill 2244, moving on to full finance. All those in favor signify by saying aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes do have it. House Bill 2244 moves to full finance. Thank you, Chairman. Next up on our calendar is item number 6, House Bill 1890 by Chairman Grills. You have a motion to second. Chairman, you're recognized, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This legislation creates the Tennessee Farmland Preservation Fund to protect one of our state's most vital economic contributors, and that would be agriculture. Tennessee is ranked 3rd in the nation for land loss to non-agricultural development, and to prevent future loss to help support our farmers, and the Farmland Preservation Fund would allow agricultural landowners to place their land into an agriculture easement by entering into an agreement with the Department of Ag that the states that their land will be used for agriculture-related development for the remainder of the term that the farm is in that easement.
All right. Thank you, Chairman Grills. Members, you've heard the description. Any discussion? Leader Camper.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Representative Grills, thank you for the bill. You think this bill would have a positive impact on what's going on in West Tennessee with respect to Blue Oval and all the development going on there?
Chairman Grills.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The goal is to make sure that farmland stays farmland, and so we can have something to eat in the future. And if those individuals who decide to not turn their family farm into a residential or a Walmart or a Lowe's, they can actually compete in the market, if you will, with this fund.
Leader Camper.
Thank you. Appreciate your answer.
Thank you, Chairman Williams.
Thank you, Chairman Grills. Appreciate this bill. This committee had the opportunity, or a portion of this committee had an opportunity to hear this bill in finance full as it relates to the original plan. I still have concerns with the bill. I think I met with the governor's staff as it relates to the bill. My concerns are, of course, Pennsylvania is the state which most states look at as the right way to do this conservation easement program. Under the current statute, though, we're allowing rules to be promulgated as it relates to the conservation of these. As you know, you and I spent some time in your county hunting ducks, and I use the example of your good friend Wally and how he has property, and he has property that he leases, that he farms, and I think the property that he leases would be an excellent solution as it relates to conservation easement. But nowhere else do we not set a duration as it relates to those easements. When I have an easement on a piece of property that I own, it's in perpetuity. It can never be removed. And whether it's utility easement or environmental easement or whatever that may be. And my concerns with this bill is that the taxpayer dollars would be spent in order to pay for an easement that would only last 10 years or 15 years. And I think the easement should be throughout the duration of the property. I do think there should be a mechanism to do that. I'm just not trusting that the rulemaking process would do that. So I'm not supporting the bill today because I felt like that there are a lot of questions that we could legislatively do instead of leaving it up to the rules to be promulgated. So I appreciate your hard work. I appreciate the administration because this is something I do support. It's just not in the mechanism or the form currently that I would support. Thank you.
Chairman Grills.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And one point, there's not a conservation easement. This is an agriculture easement, it only. So it's not for conservation, it's for, agriculture land. And number two, it is 15 years. And the whole idea was originally 15 years minimum up to in perpetuity. But there were several people on the Ag Committee that had problems with that because they felt like they'd be tying up land for an extended period of time, and there's no mechanism to get that out. So I understand your point, but that was the reason we come to where we are now.
Chairman Williams. All right, further discussion. We're on House Bill 1890. Hearing none and seeing none, we're now voting on House Bill 1890, moving on to full finance. All those in favor signify by saying aye. All those opposed signify by saying no. The ayes have it. House Bill 1890 moves full finance. All right, that brings us to item number 7 on our calendar. Item number 7 is also by Chairman Grills. It's House Bill 2767. Do we have a motion to second? You have a motion to second. Chairman Grills, you're recognized for a brief description.
Thank you, sir. This is to help farmers and by providing liability coverage for conservation districts. These conservation districts have the ability to use federal vehicles, but they are not classified under the insurance. So we're giving those just for this purpose only and in this part of code to allow them to use federal vehicles with liability insurance.
All right. Members, you've heard the description of House Bill 2767. Any discussion? Hearing none and seeing none, there is a cost associated with House Bill 2767, so we will have to place it behind the budget and consider it at a later date. So without objection, House Bill 2767 goes behind the budget. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you.
Members, let's jump back to item number 4. Item number 4 on our calendar is going to be Chairman Doggett. You have a motion and a second. Again, we're on item number 4, House Bill 2686. Chairman Doggett, you are recognized for a brief description, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members of the committee. What this bill does is amended that a couple years ago, there was some changes to the expungement statutes. And so this is really more of a cleanup. It's just making it very clear and specific as to how those expungements may be done and applied for.
All right. Thank you, Chairman Doggett. Members, any discussion? Again, we're on House Bill 2686. Hearing none and seeing none, we're now voting on House Bill 2686, moving on to full finance. All those in favor signify by saying aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes do have it. House Bill 2686 moves to full finance.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chairman. All right. That brings us back to item number 8. Item number 8 on our calendar is going to be House Bill 1011 by Chairman Haston. You have a motion to second, sir. You're recognized for a brief description.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This bill would make the TDEC Parks grants match ratio 90 state, 10 local for distressed counties.
All right. Thank you, Chairman. Members, you've heard the description. Any discussion? Hearing none and seeing none, there is a cost associated with House Bill 1011, so we will have to place it behind the budget and consider it at a later date. So without objection, House Bill 1011 goes behind the budget. Thank you, Chairman. That brings us to item number 9. Item number 9 is House Bill 1936 by Chairman Hasty. It was previously considered and placed behind the budget. Funding for this bill has now been secured, and it can move out of budget sub into full finance if that's the will of this committee. So at this time, any objection to reconsidering our actions on House Bill 1936? Seeing none, we are back on the bill as it is presented before us. Item number 9, House Bill 1936 by Chairman Haston. You have a motion second, sir. You're recognized.
Thank you. This bill would provide our seniors the opportunity to take a nationally recognized career readiness assessment, which is usually the ACT work keys. It's just a great connection point to get our kids ready, not just for the next test, but for their first job. With that, I'd be glad to answer any questions.
All right. Thank you, Chairman. Members, any discussion? Again, we're on House Bill 1936. Chairman Hawk.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Chairman Haston, thank you very much for bringing this legislation. I was able to sign on yesterday, and I will mention that Senator Sutherland and myself have been working on this for 4 or 5 years, and thank you for continuing that fight to bring and allow our students to do that. I will mention, as I mentioned Senator Sutherland's name, it is good to have him back in the building today. So for those folks who have been keeping up with Senator Sutherland and the issue that he had Monday, we are glad to have Senator Sutherland back in the building again. So thank you very much, Chairman Haston. Thank you, Chairman.
Good work, Chairman Hawk. Thank you for this. Chairman Haston, you recognize.
Do my motion.
Okay. Further discussion. Again, we're on House Bill 1936. Hearing none and seeing none, we're now voting on House Bill 1936, moving on to full finance. All those in favor signify by saying aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes do have it. House Bill 1936 moves to full finance.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Chairman. All right. That brings us to item number 10. Item number 10 is going to be House Bill 2803 by Chairman Hulsey. We've got a request here to roll this 1 week. So without objection, House Bill 2803 rolled 1 week. Brings us to item number 11. Also by Chairman Hulsey, House Bill 2804. Got a request here to roll this bill 1 week. So without objection, House Bill 2804 will be rolled 1 week. Item number 12 on our calendar is going to be by Chairman Hurt. I don't know that I saw Chairman Hurt arrive yet. So without objection, we're going to roll House Bill 2490 to the hill. So moved. Item number 13 on the calendar, Chairman Lafferty is here. So we are on item number 13, House Bill 2393. Chairman Lafferty, you got a motion and a second. You are recognized, sir.
Thank you, Chairman. This bill is an attempt to separate the fees that are charged to our universities. The National SARA agency, what SARA does, they have a reciprocity agreement. It's a nationwide agreement that allows our institutions to offer online education without the need of excessive fees. The institutional fees associated with participation when the legislation was first enacted were based in part on the fee structure established by the National Council. However, recently, that National Council has increased their fees. At the state level, we can still manage the program without increasing fees, but we are coupled to those national fees. This bill will decouple those fees so that the national level can charge more and the state of Tennessee can continue to charge exactly what they charge the universities now to help manage it. And with that, I'll take any questions.
All right, members, you've heard the description of House Bill 2393. Any discussion? Hearing none and seeing none, there is a cost associated with House Bill 2393, so we will have to place it behind the budget, consider at a later date. So without objection, House Bill 2393 goes behind the budget.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, committee.
Thank you. All right, let's back up to item number 12. Chairman Hurd, I saw him enter the room. That's House Bill 2490. Do we have a motion to second? We have a motion to second. And Chairman Hurt, you are recognized, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I apologize for my tardiness.
No problem.
House Bill 2490 is the Save Rural Ambulances Act. As many of us know, our rural ambulances are operating at a deficit, some of them up to $2 million, which are cost to our counties to make up. But anyway, this legislation is to address the reimbursement rate for the services that our EMS providers provide. So with that, Mr. Chair, I'll take any questions.
All right, Chairman Hurt, thank you very much. Members, we do have some folks who have requested to testify on this bill. But first, are there any questions for the sponsor? Hearing none and seeing none, any objection to going out of session at this time? Hearing none, we're out of session. And I'm going to go ahead and ask for Kyle Kopic. I may have butchered that name. If I do, I apologize. You can come up, go ahead and introduce yourself, sir. You'll have 3 minutes. And your time will begin once you do. Thank you for being here.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Kyle Kopak. I'm the one of the co-founders and CCO of Braden Health, and I also serve on the board of Ambulance Services of Lexington. Behind me is Glenn Mooney and Dr. Braden. Dr. Braden is the founder of the organization, and Glenn Mooney serves as our ambulance director for Henderson County, Houston County, Decatur County, and we also started a secondary service at Haywood. I could spend a lot of time talking about how, the TennCare reimbursements haven't been updated since 2006. And, this bill is simply to try and update them to 2023 levels, considering inflation. But what I would like to do is sort of talk about why we have an additional ambulance stationed at Haywood when they already have a county service. Haywood County is like many rural counties in Tennessee, where their ambulance service is county owned and is operating at a loss. Despite putting on an additional tax to try and offset this loss, what they found is they're not able to make up the difference. Because of this, they're running ambulances with 500,000 miles and 800,000 miles on them. They break so frequently that our system purchased an ambulance and stationed it at our hospital. And thanks to some good folks with the state licensing board, we're able to put that ambulance into service and take care of patients when Haywood County's ambulance services break. Unfortunately, we're not yet everywhere in the state of Tennessee. We plan to be. We really hope to reopen all 17 failed hospitals. Until then, we're asking you all for some help. We're not asking for profits on the ambulance services, just for them to break even. And with that, I'm happy to take care of any questions you may have.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Copey, for being here. Members, any questions for our guests this morning? If not, thank you very much again for being here. Thank you for your testimony.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, committee.
All right. Without objection, we will go back into session. We're back in session. And Chairman Hurt, you're recognized, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I renew my motion.
All right. Thank you. Members, any questions for the sponsor of the bill, House Bill 2490? Hearing none and seeing none, there is a cost associated with House Bill 2490, so we will have to place it behind the budget and consider it at a later date. But thank you, Duke, for bringing this bill forward. At this time, if no objection, House Bill 2490 will go behind the budget.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Chairman Herb. All right, members, let's jump back to item number 14. Item number 14 is House Bill 1830. Is Chair Lady Littleton here? I don't see her. So without objection, we will roll House Bill 1830 to the Hill. That brings us to item number 15. Item number 15 is House Bill 1245 by Chairman Powers. Without objection, we're going to roll House Bill 1245 to the Hill. So moved. That brings us to item number 16. Item number 16, we have a request here by Chairman Powers to roll to the Hill. So without objection, House Bill 1248 rolled to the Hill. That brings us to item number 17. Item number 17 is HJR 797, also by Chairman Powers. I've got a request to roll this to the Hill. So without objection, House Bill HJR 797 is rolled to the Hill. That brings us to item number 18. Item number 18 is House Bill 2553 by Chairman Reedy. I've got a request here to roll House Bill 2553 2 weeks. So without objection, House Bill 2553 rolled 2 weeks. That brings us to Chairman Rudd. There's Chairman Rudd. House Bill 1899. Sir, you've got a motion and a second. You're recognized for a brief description.
Again, this is a bill that is needed. We have 500 shortages to get SROs in our schools. This would, with severe limitations and training requirements, this would expand this to disabled veterans and retired police officers. They would be required to have 40 hours of training by the Post Commission. SROs are, I believe, 160. They would also have to have background checks by the CBI and FBI. They'd have to be fingerprinted, and they would have to be evaluated by a psychologist or certified mental health professional. They would be employees of the LEA, and the LEA can expand these minimal requirements beyond what the state's requiring to qualify for the SRO funds. Also, the sheriff would have to sign off on if they're able to carry a gun or not.
All right. Thank you, Chairman Rudd. And members, you may remember this bill last week. There was some little bit of clarity that was needed. We rolled it to the Hill, and then we didn't get back to it. So it got rolled to today's calendar. And so I do want to say I appreciate Chairman Rudd for your patience as we kind of work through that. So members, at this time, you've heard the description. Any discussion? Again, we're on House Bill 1899. Hearing none and seeing none. We're now voting on House Bill 1899, moving on to full finance. All those in favor signify by saying aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes do have it. House Bill 1899 moves to full finance.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman Rudd. All right, that brings us to item 20. Making sure no one has come in that I missed. I don't think so. Item number 20 on our counter is going to be House Bill 2178. There's Chairman White. You have a motion and a second. You're recognized, sir, for brief description.
Thank you, Chairman of the committee. And Chairman, if you let me begin by congratulating Hawkins County, Rogersville, and for the Teacher of the Year, National Teacher of the Year. Members, if you haven't had a chance to go to Rogersville, Chairman Hicks hosted me last summer, and beautiful little community, great Main Street. 1923, the school was built. It's a wonderful community. And then on Main Street, there's a 200-year-old hotel. I think I've got that correct. Right. Best food you'll ever eat. So congratulations to Rogersville and Hawkins County.
You know, I probably ought to say out of order, but there's no way you're getting that out of me. I appreciate that. So Chairman White, you're recognized. Again, we're on House Bill 2178. You got a motion to second.
Thank you, members and Chairman. What the bill I'm bringing before you is one that we do a great job in Tennessee funding degrees through our Hope Scholarships, Tennessee Promise, Tennessee Reconnect, Wilder and AFI, all those things. But the workforce today, there's a lot of jobs out there that are workforce ready. They're called, and we can put Tennesseans in these jobs through credentialing program. A credential is not a degree, but they're 8 to 14 week credential programs like in cybersecurity, coding, lineman, the truck driving, all these things where you can get a person into a job short that's get out and make $45,000, $50,000 a year, and then you can keep building up on your career. So what this bill is attempting to do is to set up a grant program through the Department of Labor and Workforce Development, whereby they would administer these high-value, workforce-ready jobs and give grants out through the Department of Labor for these particular things. As I say, credentials, there's so many jobs out there that you can go and get a credential. One of the issues we struggle with a lot of times is a lot of our workforce will go to a community college or a trade school, and they just don't hang in there for a year, 6 months, 2 years. And so to get somebody to give them a credential, then get out and get a job is highly valuable. So we're trying to find the funds so that we can support more of these credential programs across the state. And with that, Mr. Chairman, I do renew my motion.
All right. Thank you, Chairman White. Members, you've heard the description of House Bill 2178. Any discussion? Representative Love.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, sponsor, for bringing this bill. The question I do have is this: would a person who has a degree and is probably working in a field that is not providing them the employment that they want to have, or maybe the field has diminished in its effectiveness, and so they want to change careers and don't want to go to a 2-year college but want to get a credential, would a person with a degree, whether it's 2 or 4 years, be able to get a credential and apply for this grant?
Chairman White.
I'm trying to recollect when I read through the bill. I think that is correct if you want to go back and get a credential, and that is correct. If you want to go back and get that 14-week, 8-week credential, like in, say, cybersecurity, we have a institution down in Memphis that teaches coding, and you can do that for 8 to 14 weeks. Come out and you're a coder. I think the average salary is about 45 to begin with, 45, 50. So answering your question is yes.
Representative Love.
Thank you, sponsor. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you, Chairman Hall.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Chairman White, thank you for the bill. 2 questions here. Are we looking at general fund dollars, or are we looking at potential lottery dollars to go toward this? And number 2 on the question, are there any limitations on the potential for lottery dollars that we could put toward this?
Chairman White.
Thank you. Yes, right now in the bill, we're looking at $5 million to get the grant started, and that is the thing that we're working on. We have talked to THEC. We have talked it could be $5 million that would come out of the sports gaming. It's not identified in this bill, or through the general fund, either one. And so the challenge is always finding the funds. We've been working on this for a couple of years, and we keep bringing it out there because I think it does have a lot of value for our state, but the funding is always the challenge.
Chairman Hall.
Thank you. And I'll reiterate a point that I've made several times. The lottery fund constitutionally has been tied to higher ed scholarships, and I think that we could make an argument that this certainly is that. The credentialing process is certainly that. Also, the lottery funds are tied, the excess lottery funds, toward a potential pre-K programs as well as capital improvements to K through 12 facilities. So just to give folks a refresher on that, whereas the online gaming, although it has been sent to invest in higher ed programs, we do not have the constitutional impediment with those funds. And I certainly would like, as we go forward, to be able to better utilize some of those online gaming funds for initiatives like this, and even some pre-K through 12 initiatives as well. So thank you for your work on this, Chairman White. Thank you, Chairman Hicks.
Chairman White, you recognize.
Thank you very much. I do appreciate that. I think as we move forward, I know there's issues we want to make sure that our lottery funds are sustainable. That's what we're working on now. But I think we're getting very, very close. And I think this will really benefit our state for workforce ready jobs. Thank you.
Representative Love, you want to be re-recognized?
Yes, sir. And I'm not going to talk to Faison today. But I'm really excited about this now. I've read some more about it because as we talk about even things about childcare, right? A high demand field could be in that. I know sometimes we do give credentials and certificates in that as we're talking about trying to meet demands in that field. So I'm reading through here, you have that a public institution can also provide these credentials. And so I'm just thinking beyond even the technical piece, because when we're talking about the need in our non-urban areas and urban areas for childcare. So that was the point I wanted to raise up also, Mr. Chairman and Chairman Faison. Thank you.
Chairman White, any comments?
No, thank you. I appreciate the positive of the committee. Maybe between now and before we get out of session, we will be able to find those funds.
All right, Chairman. Thank you very much. Members, further discussion. Again, we're on House Bill 2178. Hearing none, seeing none, there is a cost associated with House Bill 2178, so we will have to place it behind the budget, consider at a later date. So without objection, House Bill 2178 goes behind the budget.
Thank you,
Thank
committee.
you, Chairman. All right, members, let's jump back to item number 14. I see Chair Lady Littleton has entered the room. So we're going to go back to item 14. Item number 14 is House Bill 1830 by Chair Lady Littleton, was previously considered and placed behind the budget. Funding for this bill has now been secured and it can move out to full finance. So at this time, any objection to reconsidering our actions on House Bill 1830? Seeing none and hearing none, we're back on the bill as it's before us. And Chair Lady, do we have a motion and a second on House Bill 1830? We've got a motion and a second. Chair Lady, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This makes effective September the 1st, 2024, and creates one additional trial court for the 23rd Judicial District.
All right. Thank you very much. Members, you've heard the description. Any discussion to House Bill 1830? Hearing none and seeing none, we're now voting on House Bill 1830, moving on to full finance. All those in favor signify by saying aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes do have it. House Bill 1830 moves to full finance.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman
Thank you,
and
Chair
committee.
Lady. All right, members, we are now going back to item number 21. Item number 21 on our calendar is going to be House Bill 2344 by Representative Bricken. You have a motion to second. Representative Bricken, you are recognized on House Bill 2344 for a brief description.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and committee. This is a very important school safety bill for each of your school districts. It would provide them up to 3 very efficient flexible metal detectors for each of your schools. And so it's a very important school safety bill, and I recommend passage and funding.
All right, Representative Bricken, thank you very much. Members, you've heard the description on House Bill 2344. Any discussion? Hearing none and seeing none, there is a cost associated with House Bill 2344, so we will have to place it behind the budget, consider it at a later date. So without objection, House Bill 2344 goes behind the budget.
Thank you.
Thank you, Representative. All right, that brings us to item number 22. Item number 22 on our calendar is going to be House Bill 1818 by Representative Butler. I don't know that I've seen him yet, so without objection, House Bill 1818 will be rolled to the hill. So moved. That brings us to item number 23. And I see Chairman Clemens sitting there. Chairman Clemens, you're recognized. Again, we're on House Bill 2175. We have a motion to second. You're recognized, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and committee. This bill would simply create the Student Pedestrian Protection Grant Fund within TDOT, which would have oversight over the department and set it up as need be. This bill has been amended. I assume that's traveling with the bill.
Yes, sir.
And so what we're facing here across the state of Tennessee are many public schools, specifically elementary schools, that don't have sidewalks around them or need repair. And so what this grant program would do is would require local governments to put up matching funds to whatever the state was willing to allot and go through a selection process for the purpose of designing, constructing, repairing sidewalks around our public schools in the state of Tennessee.
All right, Representative Clemens, thank you very much for the description. Again, we're on House Bill 2175. Any discussion on the bill? Hearing none and seeing none, there is a cost associated with House Bill 2175, so we will have to place it behind the budget and consider it at a later date. So without objection, House Bill 2175 goes behind the budget. Thank you, Chairman. Brings us to item number 24. Item number 24 on, let me back up just for a second. The chair lady brought something to my attention when we got to item number 22. This was Representative Butler. And I know we've saw the storms that have come across the state and continue, or that are going to be continuing today, I think. So his district was hit pretty hard last night. So do remember that community of was it Sunbright, I think is where it was at. So let's do remember the Sunbright community. And I'm not sure if Representative Butler is here or not, but I saw that and the chair lady mentioned it. So I wanted to make sure that we let that community know that they're certainly in our thoughts and prayers this morning. All right, let's move ahead to item number 24. It's going to be House Bill 2405 by Representative Freeman. I don't know that I see Representative Freeman. So without objection, we're going to roll House Bill 2405 to the Hill. Without objection, so moved. That brings us to item number 25, which is Representative Fritz, House Bill 2038. I don't see Representative Fritz, so without objection, we will roll House Bill 2038 to the Hill. That brings us to item number 26, also by Representative Fritz, House Bill 2190. Without objection, we'll roll this to the Hill. And that brings us to item number 27. Making his way to the podium will be Representative Gant, and it's House Bill 2845. Do we have a motion to second? We have a motion to second, sir. You're recognized.
Thank you, Chairman and committee. I am not going to belabor this committee's work, and I'm not going to go into a lot of detail. We can talk about this hopefully when it gets to the House floor. But this is the Tennessee Prevention of Drunk Driving Act, and it does quite a few things that would prevent continued drunk driving across this state. And Mr. Chairman, unless somebody's got specific questions, I'll move passage.
All right. Thank you, Representative Gant. Members, you've heard the description of House Bill 2845. Any discussion? Hearing none and seeing none, there's a cost associated with House Bill 2845. Oh, Representative Gant.
Well, Mr. Chairman, we did put an amendment on there. If you have 50 or more House sponsors, it just goes automatically to the full committee.
We are looking to try to find that. And Representative Gant, thank you. I know you've been working hard on this. I know this is something you're very, very passionate about, and it certainly does not go unnoticed by this committee. I can assure you of that. So we do look forward to working with you as we see this getting across the finish line. Right. So I do want to say thank you for bringing it.
Yeah, thank you.
But it does have a cost associated with it, so we will have to place it safely behind the budget, but we will consider it at a later date. So without objection, House Bill 2845 goes behind the budget. All right, members, I saw Representative Fritz walk in back there, so let's jump back to item number 25. Item number 25 on our calendar is going to be House Bill 2038 by Representative Fritz. You've got a motion and a second, and sir, you're recognized for a brief description.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and committee. I will be presenting to you a bill which has drafting code 14922 on it. This bill is a companion, if you will, to a restructuring of our State Energy Policy Advisory Council, and this is the tasking portion of that. With your permission, Chairman, I'll read just a couple lines from a letter I got from TVA yesterday. Earlier today, TVA approved the decision to retire Kingston Fossil Plant by 2027 and replace its generation with a first-of-a-kind energy complex that includes natural gas, solar, and battery storage. I'll stop there, Mr. Chairman. All a good thing, and it's part of our move, but it certainly drives the necessity of what I present for you today, and it does have a cost associated with it. That's why I'm spending a little bit of your time to be able to fund a study, because we're going to be relying more on natural gas in our near future, in the foreseeable future, to get us to that, to build that bridge, if you will, to get us to that nuclear renaissance that we expect. So with that, I'll certainly take any questions you have. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Representative Fritz. Members, you've heard the description. Again, we're on House Bill 2038. Any discussion? Hearing none and seeing none, there is a cost associated with House Bill 2038, so we will have to place it behind the budget and consider it at a later date. So without objection, House Bill 2038 goes behind the budget. All right. We're now on item number 26. Item number 26, House Bill 2190 by Representative Fritz. This bill was previously considered and placed behind the budget. Funding for this bill has now been secured, and it can now be moved out of finance. So any objection to reconsidering our actions on House Bill 2190? Seeing none. We are back on the bill as it is presented before us, and we have a motion and a second. And Representative Fritz, you are recognized on House Bill 2190. It looks like there is an amendment that we need to file, drafting code 016189. Is that correct?
That is correct, Mr. Chairman, and that.
We have a motion to second. Motion to second. You're recognized on the amendment.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman Committee. That amendment simply takes out some of the reciprocal actions I had in the previous bill and makes it a one-year thing. And that was what we were able to do to get rid of the fiscal note.
Okay, thank you for this description, Representative Fritz. Members, any discussion on the amendment? Chairman Moon.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Help me out as a sailor. Brigade size, can you give me a number of personnel, brigade size?
That would depend on what type unit it was in the Army. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, Representative Fritz,
Thank
you're
you.
recognized.
It would depend on what size it is. This was estimated at 2,000 or more when the fiscal note was done, 2,000 or more persons.
Chairman Moon.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Do you have an estimate of the number of Chinese military age males that have crossed the southern border?
Representative Fritz.
Last year.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you for that question. I think I heard last night from a congressman that was somewhere in the order of 20,000.
Thank
Chairman
you,
Moon.
Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Thank you. Further discussion on House Bill 21. Actually, we're on the amendment of 016189 on House Bill 2190. Further discussion on the amendment. Hearing none and seeing none, we're now voting on amendment drafting code 016189 on the House Bill 2190. All those in favor of putting this amendment on signify by saying aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes have it. We're back on the bill as amended. Sir, you're recognized on the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just ask for your support in moving this bill back. We do have the letter from Mr. Bryson that talks about the $1.4 million and that would be covered. And so with that, I'll submit to the will of the committee and entertain any questions.
All right, Representative Fritz, thank you. And we have received that funding letter. So this bill is at the will of the committee of moving forward or not. So any discussion? Again, we're on House Bill 2190 as amended. Hearing none and seeing none, we're now voting on House Bill 2190, moving on to full finance. All those in favor say aye. Any opposed, say no. The ayes have it. House Bill 2190 moves to full finance.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman Committee.
Okay. All right, that moves us back to item number 28. Item number 28 is House Bill 2176. I got a request here to roll her 5 spaces. So without objection, House Bill 2176, roll 5 spaces. That brings us to item number 29. Item number 29 is House Bill 1905 by Representative McCalman. Sir, you've got a motion and a second. You're recognized for a brief description on House Bill 1905.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members. This is a real simple bill. All it does is bump up the penalty for a child abuse conviction for the ages of 9 to 18 years that injures a child, that bumps it from a misdemeanor to a Class E felony. And with that, I stand ready for questions.
All right, Representative McCalman, thank you very much for this description of House Bill 1905. Any discussion? Hearing none and seeing none, there is a cost associated with House Bill 1905, so we will have to place it behind the budget, consider it at a later date. So without objection, House Bill 1905 goes behind the budget. Thank you. All right, that brings us to item number 30, also by Representative McCalman, House Bill 2613. We've got a motion to second. You're recognized for a brief description.
Thank you, Chairman and Committee. Again, House Bill 2613, all it does is it creates a new restrictive liquor by the drink license that kind of dumbs down the current liquor by the drink license. This came to me from a constituent. It permits the sale of liquor by the drink from 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. with this license. No more than 15% of the revenue from that business can be made from liquor sales. It decreases the number from 40 seats to 20 seats for the business, and it also maintains a requirement to sell food in the barbusiness. I've worked heavily with the ABC on this. They actually wrote this bill. Oh, and lastly, it puts a restriction in place to where it would only apply to barbershops, cosmetology salons, and cigar bars. So with that, I stand ready for questions.
Okay, Representative McCalman, thank you very much for the description. Members, any discussion? Again, we're on House Bill 2613. Hearing none and seeing none, we're now voting on House Bill 2613, moving on to full finance. All those in favor signify by saying aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes do have it. House Bill 2613 moves on to full finance.
Thank you, Chairman and Committee.
Thank you. That brings us to, I do not see Representative Miller. So without objection, we'll roll House Bill 2202 to the Hill. Brings us to item number 32. I do not see Representative Parkinson, so without objection, we'll roll House Bill 2781 to the Hill. That does bring us to item number 33, and waiting patiently has been Representative Ritchie. We're on House Bill 1617. Sir, you've got a motion to second. You're recognized for a brief description.
Thank you, Chairman and Committee. House Bill 1617 is the sex offender bill that I'm running this year. What this bill ends up doing is anybody who is convicted of aggravated statutory rape, it'll put a 15-year minimum for those individuals being on the sex registry. It only applies to those individuals that are convicted of aggravated statutory rape, and it's post facto, meaning that it would end up taking place. Anybody that commits the crime after this would become law.
Okay. Thank you, Representative Ritchie, for this description. Members, any discussion? Again, we're on House Bill 1617. Hearing none and seeing none, there is a cost associated with House Bill 1617, so we will have to place it behind the budget and consider at a later date. So without objection, question?
Oh, no, it has the increase that goes behind the budget, the increase in state revenue.
What's that? Yeah, there's other fiscal impact that got you, but we'll help you shelter this one through. So without objection, House Bill 1617 does have a cost, so we will have to place it behind the budget. So without objection, House Bill 1617 goes behind the budget. All right, members, that brings us back to item number 28, which we rolled 5 spots. So I do not see Representative Lynn back in the room just yet. So without objection, we're going to have to roll House Bill 2176 to the Hill. So without objection, so moved. All right, that brings us to item number 34. There's Representative Wright. Item number 34 is House Bill 1980 by Representative Wright. We got a motion to second. Sir, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and committee. House Bill 1980 is for Presbyterian Homes, a state licensed retirement home in Knox County, the city of Knoxville, doing business as Shannondale, a 501c3 nonprofit. They've recently purchased 2 parcels of property and rebuilt their home, and they had a mix-up on property tax in 1 year. The benefit of this bill would be to allow them to be made whole by Knox County, the city of Knoxville. With that brief explanation, if there are questions, I stand for questions, renew my motion.
All right, Representative Wright, thank you very much. Members, again, we're on House Bill 1980. You've heard the description and discussion. Chairman Moon.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and to the sponsor. What is the status or feelings of the city of Knoxville and Knox County on this matter?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This has been basically penned by Knox County, and the city of Knoxville is neutral.
Chairman Moon.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Further discussion on House Bill 1980. Hearing none and seeing none, there's a cost associated with House Bill 1980, so we will have to place it behind the budget and consider it at a later date. So without objection, House Bill 1980 goes behind the budget. Okay, that brings us to item number 35 on our calendar. It's going to be House Bill 2261 by Representative Wright. You got a motion to second. Sir, you're recognized for a brief description.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, committee. This bill brings forth a definition of a home for the aged, which would allow 1 to 3 people or 3 or fewer persons to live in the same home unrelated.
All right, thank you, Representative Wright. Members, you've heard the description of House Bill 1980. Any discussion? Hearing none and seeing none, we're now voting on House Bill 1980. Moving on. Oh, let me back up. Yeah. Sorry about that. I got off track. We're on item number 35, House Bill 2261. I apologize for that. Any question on House Bill 2261? Hearing none and seeing none, we're now voting on House Bill 2261, moving on to full finance. All those in favor signify by saying aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes do have it. House Bill 2261 moves to full finance.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you, Representative Wright. All right, members, we're going to jump back to item number 32. Representative Parkinson has come in the room, so just a second here. Item number 32 is going to be House Bill 2781 by Representative Parkinson. You do have a motion to second, sir. You're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you, committee. What this bill does is it creates the cosmetology licensure compact, and it was brought by the Council of State Governments. The compact creates a multi-state license for cosmetologists to make it easier for individuals to practice in multiple states. The compact does not impact anyone's ability to have a Tennessee-specific license. Adopting the compact now will put Tennessee at the table for the rulemaking process of the compact between the states. In addition to the compact, what we're also doing is doing a little cleanup. We're removing inconsistent educational requirements for cosmetology and barbering students. We removed a continuous consecutive requirement of years of experience as a cosmetologist barber practitioner to become an instructor. And we removed mandatory penalty fee for master barbers to reinstate expired licenses to align with the cosmetology statute. And so that's what this bill does.
All right, Representative Parkinson, thank you very much for the description. Again, members, we're on House Bill 2781. Any discussion? Hearing none and seeing none, there is a cost associated with House Bill 2781, so we will have to place it behind the budget and consider it at a later date. So without objection, House Bill 2781 goes behind the budget.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Representative Parkinson. All right, members, let's go back to item number 36. Item number 36 on our calendar is going to be House Bill 1184 by Representative Garrett. We have a motion and a second. And Representative Garrett, looks like you've got an amendment drafting code 013334. Is that correct?
That's correct, Mr. Chairman.
Do we have a motion and a second? We have a motion and a second on the amendment. Do you want to get the amendment on? Do you want to describe the amendment? How?
Sure. That rewrites the bill.
Okay, so it does rewrite the bill. Okay, so let's go ahead and get that on. Got a motion and a second on the amendment. Any discussion on the amendment? Hearing none and seeing none, we're now voting on drafting code 013334 on the House Bill 1184. All those in favor signify by saying aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes do have it. We're back on the bill as amended. Representative Garrett, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And Mr. Chairman, before this was amended to add 13334, this piece of legislation moved last year and was placed behind the budget because it gave a tax exemption for diapers, milk products, et cetera, which generated about an $18 million fiscal note for those reduction in taxes. The new amendment now exempts from sales tax breast pumps and breast pump collection and storage supplies as it relates to breast pumps. And one of the reasons why we were trying to figure out a way that we could reduce that fiscal note and then also provide something for our mothers in this particular space is that breastfeeding provides all kind of health benefits if children are breastfed for a certain period of time after they're born. So my hope is this could encourage more breastfeeding and allow mothers to have some sort, and families to have some sort of cost reduction in those supplies. So this generates just over $1 million of a fiscal note for the breast pump related items to be tax exempt. So I know where this is ended up going to go, but I hope we'll have this opportunity to revisit this and hopefully we can get it funded to help out our families as they have babies in our state. So with that, Mr. Chairman, I would ask for support, but I do realize where this is heading.
All right, Representative Garrett, thank you very much for the description. Members, any discussion? Again, we're on House Bill 1184. Hearing none and seeing none, the House Bill 1184 does have a cost associated with it, so we will have to place it behind the budget and consider it at a later date. However, since the bill has been calendared 3 times, we will need to place it on a special calendar to be published with our final calendar. And again, this is pursuant to our House rules. So without objection, House Bill 1184 will go on the special calendar to be published with the final calendar. Without objection, so moved.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and committee.
Thank you, Representative Garrett. All right, brings us to item number 37, House Bill 1723 by Chair Lady Hazelwood. I've got a request here to roll this 1 week, so without objection, House Bill 1723 will be rolled 1 week. That brings us to item number 38. Item number 38 is House Bill 2325 by Chair Lady Hazelwood. We have a motion and a second. You are recognized, and it looks like that we do have an amendment here that we need to get onto this bill. Let me get caught up here.
017389.
That is correct. It looks like it does rewrite the bill. So let's go ahead and get the amendment on. We have a motion and a second. We have a motion and a second on the amendment. In discussion, hearing none and seeing none, we're now voting on the amendment drafting code 017389 on the House Bill 2325. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. The ayes have it. We're back on the bill as amended. You're recognized, Chair Lady.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This bill is brought because we recognize the use of artificial intelligence that's rapidly increasing. And we also recognize that state governments, including ours, as well as businesses, are still learning how to navigate this new landscape. And in order not to get left behind, states have to develop a framework for leveraging AI so that it can be used for the benefit of efficiency and for the benefit of effectiveness for our citizens. But there's just a lot of unknowns. There are a lot of issues to deal with. So it seemed prudent to us. And we worked with the Senate and the administration to create this bill, which would set up an artificial intelligence advisory council. That council would bring together stakeholders from across our government, from businesses, and other sectors that are impacted by AI, which at the end of the day would be almost any sector you could think about, I believe. But anyway, as I said, we did work with the administration and came up with this last amendment, which does rewrite the bill. And it basically has to do with the composition of that council. It includes the state's information officer, the director of LIS, various commissioners from various departments of state government, the AG, the head of Homeland Security, chairs of House and Senate Finance, Ways and Means, and Commerce, appointees by the Speaker and of the House and the Senate, and then 7 members that would be appointed by the governor that would have interest in particular areas: local government, higher ed, workforce development, business community. Also, we like to bring in folks who are in this business, AI developers and experts, and then academics who have concentration in this kind of technology policy. And finally, the TBI would be a part of that. And the state chief information officer and the commissioner of F&A would be the joint chairs of this commission. So with that, Mr. Chairman, I would ask for consideration of this, setting up this council.
All right, Chair Lady, thank you very much for the description of House Bill 2325. Any discussion? Hearing none and seeing none, there is a cost associated with House Bill 2325, so we will have to place it behind the budget, consider at a later date. So without objection, House Bill 2325 goes behind the budget. All right, members, we're going to back up now to item number 24. Item number 24 on our calendar is going to be Representative Freeman. And give us just a second here. Item number 24 is House Bill 2405 by Representative Freeman. Sir, you've got a motion and a second. You're recognized for a brief description.
Thank you, Chairman of the Committee. I have an amendment. Is it traveling with it?
It is traveling with it, so you're in the proper posture to move forward.
Fantastic. So this is the social work licensure compact. It would allow for partner states to create this compact and for us to join, and allow for social workers to be able to work across state lines in a quicker, easier, more efficient manner.
All right. Thank you very much, Representative Freeman. Members, you've heard the description of House Bill 2405. Any discussion? Hearing none and seeing none, there's a cost associated with House Bill 2405, so we will have to place it behind the budget and consider it at a later date. So without objection, House Bill 2405 goes behind the budget. Thank you, Chairman. All right, members, let's move to item 28. Item number 28 is going to be by Representative Lynn. I see her making her way down the aisle. So it's going to be House Bill 2176. Do we have a motion to second?
Motion.
We have a motion to second. We are on House Bill 2176. Chair Lady, you are recognized.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. I apologize for being late. House Bill 2176 will put some muscle in the Sunshine Law, and it will help citizens by giving the judge some discretion about their attorney's fees and court costs. And then also there was a lawsuit last December with a decision that was detrimental to this law. So the amendment makes a change in the definition of meeting so that it will correct it. And the Sunshine Law for open meetings will be what it's always understood to have been.
All right. Thank you, Representative Lynn, for this description. Members, any discussion on House Bill 2176? Hearing none and seeing none, there's a cost associated with House Bill 2176, so we will have to place it behind the budget, consider at a later date. So without objection, House Bill 2176 goes behind the budget.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Representative. All right, where's that take us back? 39. All right, members, that brings us back to item number 39. Item number 39 on our calendar is House Bill 2940 by Representative Hicks of Washington. You have a motion to second. Sir, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Members, this is the Teen Care for Working Individuals with Disabilities Act. And what this does is it creates a path for folks with disabilities to actually get a job and go to work, and they will take a percentage of their paycheck and turn it back in to TennCare and be able to keep their TennCare. Currently in the state, if someone can't work and have TennCare relatively at the same time if they have a full disability. So this is a very important bill for Tennessee. I can't think of anything more important than someone wanting to work and can't in this state. Is unbelievable to me. So this opens up a path. This also opens up a path for currently if someone is working and has their own private insurance, they can actually pay into TennCare and get help with home health care through that. So it's a very good idea. It's a very good path, and I will be open for any questions.
All right, Chairman, thank you very much. And members, this is actually the third time that I've heard this bill. And Chairman Hicks, I know you've worked very hard, and I know there was a gentleman who testified on this bill a couple of times in insurance, and what a story he had. I'll say that. So thank you for bringing this bill forward. Very important. I know certainly to you, but certainly to many other Tennesseans that fall in this category. So members, you've heard the description and discussion on House Bill 2940. If not, of course, there is a cost associated with this piece of legislation, so we will have to place it behind the budget and consider it at a later date. But I don't want that to get lost into, what this bill is trying to accomplish. And I do want to, again, thank you for bringing it forward. So without objection, House Bill 2940 will be placed behind the budget.
Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, committee.
Thank you. All right, members, we're on item number 40. Item number 40 is House Bill 862 by Representative Shaw. You have a motion and a second. We also have an amendment. I think this makes a technical change. We'll go ahead and get that on. It's drafting code 016961. We have a motion and a second. And again, Representative Shaw, you want to just mention that technical change there in that amendment?
Yes, sir. They just changed the effective date is all it does. The amendment does. That's amendment 016961.
Okay, thank you very much. Any discussion on the amendment? Hearing none and seeing none, we will go ahead and get this bill or this amendment onto the bill. So all those in favor of amendment drafting code 016961 onto House Bill 862 signify by saying aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes have it. We're back on the bill as amended. Representative Shaw, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Very simple bill. It just requires the Department of Children's Services to provide juveniles in DCS custody and/or that are housed by juvenile detention facilities or youth development centers with 24-hour, 7-day-a-week access. It provides them mental health, psychological, and behavioral services is what the bill does. With that, I stand ready to answer any questions.
All right, Representative Shaw, thank you very much. Members, you've heard the description of House Bill 862. Any discussion? Hearing none and seeing none, there is a cost associated with House Bill 862, so we will have to place it behind the budget, consider it at a later date. However, since the bill has been calendared 3 times, we will need to place it on the special calendar to be published with our final calendar. And again, this is pursuant to our House rules. So without objection, House Bill 862 will go on the special calendar to be published with the final calendar. Without objection, so moved.
Thank you, sir.
Representative. That brings us to item number 41. Item number 41 is House Bill 2088 by Chairman Whitson. Do we have a motion and a second? We have a motion and a second. Sir, you're recognized for a brief description.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And members, this is an administration bill, and it's to help our members of the National Guard and U.S. Army Reserve. The first part authorizes the military department to administer a critical skill retention bonus program to be used to award retention bonuses up to $10,000 to enlisted service members in the Tennessee National Guard. For instance, they're experiencing a shortage of water purification specialists and air traffic control equipment repair specialists. So this will help to recruit and retain these important members of our National Guard. Second part is to for state employees who are members of the reserve component, the U.S. Army Reserve and the National Guard, to a special leave partial pay during a period in which the members are called to active duty. What we found over the past 26 years, members who are state employees, when they're called to active duty, they may actually take a pay decrease. What this will do for 1 year is to bring their pay up to what they were making as a state employee. And with that, Mr. Chairman, I renew my motion.
All right, Chairman Whitson, thank you very much for the description on House Bill 2088. Any discussion? Hearing none and seeing none, we're now voting on House Bill 2088, moving on to full finance. All those in favor signify by saying aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes do have it. House Bill 2088 moves to full finance. Thank you, Chairman. That brings us to item number 42 on our calendar. It's going to be House Bill 2317 by Chairman Williams. Do we have a motion and a second? We have a motion and a second. Sir, you're recognized.
Thank you, Chairman members. This just is a bill which would require a TASER study of daycare services across the state. Happy to answer any questions members might have.
All right, Chairman Williams, thank you very much for this description. Again, we're on House Bill 2317. Any discussion? Hearing none and seeing none, House Bill 2317 is actually going to be placed on the TASER study. Therefore, we will, at this time, without objection, place it on the TASER calendar. So without objection, House Bill 2317 moves on to that calendar. So moved. That brings us to item number 43 on our calendars, HJR 841 by Chairman Williams.
Thank you.
Motion to second. Sir, you're recognized.
Thank you, Chairman members. House Joint Resolution 0841 was brought to me by a local LEA school board member. This bill simply would allow for lotteries to be administered through as connected to the local LEAs instead of going through the charitable gaming process they currently do. I understand where this is going. Look forward to seeing a discussion about it later.
All right, Chairman Williams, thank you very much, members. This is HJR 841. Any discussion? Of course, we are going to be placing HJR 841 onto the constitutional amendment calendar if there's no objection and no questions, and I'm not seeing any. So without objection, HJR 841 moves to the constitutional amendment calendar. The objection, so moved. All right, members, give us just a second to make sure we do just a little bit of house cleaning, make sure we didn't miss anything. Members, we're going to take about a 3-minute recess. So without objection, we stand in recess. All right, members, we are back in session, so thank you for your patience there. We're going to go to item number 15. Item number 15 on our calendar is going to be House Bill 1245 by Chairman Powers. We have a motion and a second. We have a motion and a second on the bill, and it looks like we do have an amendment. Just a second to get there here. Again, we're on item 15. They'll rewrite. All right, we're on item number 15, and Chairman Powers, it does have an amendment that rewrites the bill drafting code 017004. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, it does rewrite, so we're gonna go ahead and get this on, then we'll turn it over to you. So we have a motion, a second on the amendment. Any discussion on the amendment? Hearing none, seeing none, we're now voting on drafting code 017004 on to House Bill 1245. All those in favor signify by saying aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes have it. We're back on the bill as amended. Sir, you're recognized.
Sorry, what was the item number?
It is item number 15, House Bill 1245.
Okay, thank you. Sorry, just came out of another committee.
You're
and,
fine. You're fine.
Kind of on the run here.
And Representative Powers, Chairman Powers, this does deal
Yes.
with criminal procedure.
Okay, yes. Okay, do it the old fashioned way.
There's 15. And you're 15.
Okay, I'm sorry. I was looking under the wrong bill here. I had three. Okay, so 1245 is just simply the bill that I had that was carried over from last year regarding the death penalty. And it actually authorizes the Department of Corrections to do a firing squad. And it's permissive. It's optional by whoever would like to have that type of death penalty. We know we've had problems in the past with electrocution and also with the drug procedure, the drug protocol. So I introduced this bill to allow them another option if they wanted to do that.
All right, thank you, Chairman. Members, you've heard the description of House Bill 1245. Any discussion? Representative Shaw.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Sponsor, first of all, let me just say this, and this is only my belief. I respect yours. I personally don't believe in the death penalty. I think God does a better job than all of us in punishing people. And I think they get more punishment if they live than they do when we just take them out right away. So that's my personal belief. So to make this real short, I will not be supporting this now nor on the floor anyway. I just don't believe in, I respect you, but I just don't believe in the death penalty. So I just want you to know that. So as this go through the process, I cannot support it for my own personal reasons. Thank you.
Chairman Powers.
Yeah, and I understand. And what brought this to me was I had somebody in my district and they had brutally raped and murdered and killed him and another person, a younger person in my district when after the husband went home or went to work and he came back home and found them and they had been raped and killed and butchered multiple times. And he sat on death row for 33 years and the husband actually died before the sentence was ever carried out. It finally has been carried out since that time, but they didn't even have any relatives that, normally the family, the immediate family gets to come in to witness that. And the immediate family member had already died and his daughter and wife were butchered and killed. So I think that in certain situations like that, that the death penalty is justified. But I understand you completely.
Representative Shaw.
And thank you for that comment, but you're right. And I just believe in no situation should we take that matter in our own. And again, I'm speaking personally. I'm not speaking for anybody else on the committee and I'm not being negative toward you, but I just don't believe that. I just still believe that that is something that a higher power should take care of. And I don't believe that. I think we have to love even our enemies, but thank you.
I understand completely. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Further discussion on House Bill 1245. Hearing none and seeing none, there's a cost associated with House Bill 1245, so we will have to place it behind the budget and consider it at a later date. So however, since the bill has been calendared 3 times, we will need to place it on a special calendar to be published with our final calendar pursuant again to our House rules. So without objection, House Bill 1245 will go on the special calendar to be published with the final calendar. Without objection, so moved. All right, that brings us to item number 16. Item number 16 on our calendar is House Bill 1248 by Chairman Powers. We have a
Yes,
motion and a second.
I'm sorry.
We have a motion and a second. Looks like you've got an amendment drafting code 017822, which rewrites the bill. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, let's go ahead and get this amendment on. We have a motion and a second on the amendment. We have a motion and a second on the amendment. Any discussion on the amendment? Hearing none and seeing none, we're now voting on drafting code 017822 onto House Bill 1248. All those in favor signify by saying aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes have it. We're back on the bill as amended. Sir, you're recognized on the bill for a brief description.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman and committee. House Bill 1248 is a bill it's an elder abuse financial hotline. And what we're trying to do is set up a hotline with TBI to where we can immediately stop and deter some of the elder abuse that's going on. It's a $500 million problem in the state of Tennessee. And TBI is working with us to where they can have a direct hotline to bankers or whatever, whether it's somebody in the immediate family or a scam that's going on. And we can put a hold on that, temporary hold on that, till we can find out who's doing it. And eventually have investigators and analysts that will go out and work with the DA's office and get these people convicted. But our elderly people are really being abused. I've seen it in my district many, many times where people try and send money overseas or send money to someone that they don't know. And it's just really a bad situation in that community. And so with that, I'll renew my motion, take any questions.
All right. Thank you very much, Chairman Powers. Again, we're on House Bill 1248. You've heard the description. Any discussion? Chair Lady Hazelwood.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just wanted to thank Chairman Powers for bringing this bill. It is an issue and it seems to be getting worse and not better. So I hope that we'll be able to find the funding to bring this to fruition. But as our elderly are being really taken advantage of in so many different ways. My mother is 97 and I have her trained. She answers the phone, and if it's somebody she doesn't recognize, she just says, you're a scam and I'm hanging up. But not everybody does that. And she has had so many opportunities from Publishers Clearinghouse and so many other places. And it really is, it's a terrible crime with really terrible consequences. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair Lady. Chairman Powers, any comment?
No, I would just like to say on that too, that we've just seen where people are trying to send $50,000 to somebody overseas that they don't even know, and they're being taken care of because they think somebody's dying or having a medical problem. And we've had that happen in my community and many communities around. And we think this is really going to help prevent a lot of that. So thank you.
All right, Chairman. Thank you. Members, further discussion on House Bill 1248. Hearing none and seeing none, there is a cost associated with House Bill 1248, so we will have to place it behind the budget and consider it at a later date. However, since the bill has been calendared 3 times, we will need to place it on a special calendar to be published with our final calendar. And again, this is pursuant to our House rules. So without objection, House Bill 1248 will go to the special calendar to be published with the final calendars. Without objection, so moved. All right, members, that brings us to, thank you, Representative. That brings us to item number 17, which is HJR 797 by Chairman Powers. You've got a motion and a second. You're recognized for a brief description.
All right, thank you. And this is a constitutional amendment, and I've talked with, I think that's going to be going, if that's correct, on the
That's
constitutional amendment calendar.
That is correct. We do have a constitutional amendment calendar coming up. So without objection, we're going to place HJR 797 onto the constitutional amendment calendar. Without objection, so moved.
Right.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Representative
Thank you,
Powers.
committee.
All right, members, that brings us back to item number 22. This is by Representative Butler. This is House Bill 1818. Without objection, we're going to roll this 1 week. Without objection, so moved. This brings us to item number 31. Item number 31 is House Bill 2202 by Representative Miller, and I've got a request here to take this off notice. So without objection, House Bill 2202 is taken off notice. So moved. All right, members, I think that completes our calendar. Is there anything else that needs to come before the committee? No further business I see. So without objection, we stand adjourned. We're adjourned.